Hey everybody, Yankee here. As you may know already, Smith & Wesson announced a new gun. They're announcing the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 Magnum. And as you can guess from the name, this gun is chambered in 22 Magnum. But unlike most good 22 Magnum guns, it's not a revolver. It's a semi-auto. In fact, it's their 5.7 gun modified to be chambered in 22 Magnum. And I think this is a stupid idea. Now, I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I've always wanted a 22 Magnum semi-automatic gun. You know, and up till now, your only choice was really the PMR 30, which was a jam-o-matic and self-disassembling piece of junk. So people are like, finally, we'll get a good one from a good manufacturer. But will you get a good one? Will it be good for anything, actually? Does this gun make any sense? I know a lot of people have been clamoring for one, but people ask for stuff that they shouldn't have all the time. They ask for stupid stuff all the time. So let's decide, is this gun going to be something good or is it bad? Is it just stupid and possibly dangerous? Before we get into that, let's look at the gun itself. Like I said, this is the M&P 22 Magnum, and this one is listed as part of the M&P 22 Magnum series, meaning I guess there's going to be more of them, and they list this one as the M&P 22 Magnum with manual safety, so it does have manual safety, and I'm assuming one will be coming without the manual safety since this one denotes that it has one and it's part of a series, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, the gun is cut for an RMR, comes with a fiber optic front sight. It's got the new, really nice two-piece trigger. I will give them that. I love their new two-piece trigger. So much better than their old triggers. Now, it does still have the same blobbish-looking frame that the 5.7 version of this gun has. Don't like that at all. I think this gun is just downright ugly. But looks aren't what matters in these polymer guns. It's how they work. And are they good for what they're made for? And in this case, I just can't imagine that it will be. Now, a lot of people like 22 Magnum, and a lot of people like it for self-defense. And I'm always like, fine, I got nothing against 22 Magnum for self-defense. Up close and personal, that'll do the job. Really doesn't lack in anything other than, size of hole that it makes. But I don't know about you. I don't like having extra holes in me. I'm not really fond of all the holes I have now. I could probably do with a few less. But if we didn't need to use them, I'm saying I would rather not have to be able to use those holes. But you know what I mean. It doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Like I said, I think 22 Magnum is pretty good for self-defense. It's not the best round. It's not optimal, but if you want it, fine. But from a semi-automatic pistol, I would just say no. There's too many problems when you put rimmed cartridges in semi-automatic guns. And this gun has a lot of them. It holds 30 rounds in each magazine for a total capacity of 30 plus 1. And you see the Rugers, when they have just single stack rounds, the problem they have when they have 22 caliber guns with reliability. Imagine now shoving 30 of these rounds into a magazine. And I've seen a couple reviews on this gun up until now, and these are obviously paid reviews, sponsored reviews for them to get the guns early. And even they kind of dance around the reliability. One of them even said, oh, the term reliable still applies, if you look at this, and this. In other words, yeah, it's not reliable, but we're going to blame it on other factors and try to make it look like it's reliable. It's reliable if you ignore the fact that it jams all the time. So I just can't imagine this is going to be a reliable gun, which puts it out of the running for a carry gun. Like I said, there's just so many problems with 22 Magnums in a semi-automatic gun. If you want to carry a 22 Magnum revolver, like I said, more power to you, but I just wouldn't recommend it with a semi-automatic, at least these days, because they just don't seem to be able to get it right. Like I said, PMR 30 jammed and blew up all the time. Now, I don't think the Smith & Wesson will blow up, but I don't think it's going to be reliable. So as a carry gun, I think it's a stupid idea. And unfortunately, so many people are probably going to think that this gun's good for carry. Like, I'm going to get this for my grandma, or I'm going to get this for my old grandpa, or the lady in my life who can't handle a lot of recoil. Well, I mean, if you don't love them, then I would say, okay, yeah, get them this for self-defense. But if you do, I'd get them a revolver or something else that's going to be more reliable, because I just can't see this being reliable, and that makes it not a very good gun, and in some cases, a dangerous gun if people think it's something it isn't. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're being too critical. This is just a plinker. People just want a plinker. Well, if you want a plinker, why isn't it just 22 long rifle? 22 long rifle's better for plinking. It's way cheaper. And it would be easier to get it to work. So even though then it still wouldn't work great, but 22 Magnum's even harder to get to work right in a semi-auto. So as far as plinkers go, doesn't make a lot of sense either. It's like, I want to have a plinker, but I want it to have as loud a bang as possible and really not make any other difference. You know, you're not going to really see a lot of different explosive difference on impact or anything like that. So I don't really see why anybody would want 22 Magnum for a plinker. But, you know, you do you. If you're someone who does want 22 Magnum for a plinker, well, then this gun will be great for you. And I recommend you get it. You probably bought a PMR 30. You probably don't have it anymore if you actually shot it, but you probably bought one. You'll probably buy this. And this one I think will actually last. It'll actually not fall apart. But I don't think it'll be that reliable. And I don't think it'll make that big of a difference over a 22. So in the end, when you take into account that it is kind of an ugly gun, I would stick with the 5.7. If you were going to get this gun and say, I want to defend myself with it or give it to a family member who can't handle recoil, stick with the 5.7 or another gun. I would actually recommend the Ruger in the 5.7. But stick with the 5.7. It makes more sense. It'll work better. It's not a rimmed cartridge. It's not rim fire. Everything about it makes it easier to make it work properly. And it's very effective. 22 Magnum might be effective, but everything about it makes it harder to make it reliable. So the only way I would even consider this gun is if I wanted a big banging plinker that cost me more money to shoot, but I can't imagine why anyone would actually want that. But if you do, like I said, this gun might be for you. But for everybody else, I don't see any reason why you would want this gun.